Hello again, everyone. Thank you for joining us back here on the LL League Insiders page at lanksports.com. Online sports editor Keith Schweigert here alongside me, the king of all local media, Jeffrey Reinhart. And we're here to take you through the docket for Week 6. Jeff, we have 5 games in the book, 5 more to go. And I thought we'd jump right into it here as we get to the season's second half. If you could give us your top 5 teams at the halfway point of the season. I'm going to put you on the spot there.
Okay,
Go right ahead, run them down
rankings.
for us.
Here we go. I have Wilson 1. I have Penn, Manor 2nd, the 2 undefeated teams in the league, right at the top, 1 and 2. Lancaster Catholic 3rd, the Section 3 co-leader. And then the last 2 teams I have from Section 2, Elizabethtown at 4 and Garden Spot at 5. Those are my rankings at the halfway point.
And what makes you rank the teams where you did?
Wilson at the top, Section 1 favorites 5-0. They've been as advertised. Their offense has been good. Steve Huber's back at quarterback, the senior. He's played the last couple of weeks. They're getting it done defensively, obviously. Top 5 defense in the league, number 1 in the league against the rush. Really starting to shut teams down, and they found a rhythm here. They're in a really good groove, and I think I wrote this week that it's really going to take, I hate to say superhuman, but it's going to take a really good effort right now to knock Wilson off. Those guys are flying high. They're playing great. I have them on my one line. I have Penn Manor 2nd. I mean, here are the comments. Yeah, I mean, they're 5-0. They're legit. They're finding ways to win, which I really like. Talked to Coach Mealy this week, and he said, hey, a win's a win. I mean, it's really hard to stay undefeated. Last week was 9-6 over Reading. Just a goofy score in a weird game. They held Reading to 4 first downs and 120 yards of offense. Their defense is playing really well. Number 1 in the league, only giving up 160 yards a game. They're legit. They are legit. I'm sipping the Kool-Aid on Penn Manor. They're here. They have arrived. Congrats to them. Catholic at number 3, Section 3 co-leader with AnnvilleCleona, which has been a nice story. Catholic's defense has been very good. They're 2nd in the league, giving up around 170 yards a game. Passing game has been good. We knew it was coming with Kyle Smith. I know he got off to a slow start with the Trinity game, but he's been terrific ever since. Over 1,000 yards passing, 10 touchdown passes. They have all their weapons now. Jankowski's back. Purvis is having an outstanding year at wideout. And they're getting some special teams kind of touchdowns. So really like Catholic there. They're just kind of humming along and doing their thing. E-Town at number 4. I like their smash mouth game. Their big question mark was, we have so many new starters and we lost so many kids, but they have just picked up where they left off from last year. They have been fantastic. Conrad Heisey with a huge game last week, 209 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. To go along with Rosenberry and Weidman and McNeil, they have a ton of weapons.
Yeah, they have quite a backfield.
Yeah, and really like E-Town a lot. And they'll play my number 5 team this week, Garden Spot, big Section 2 showdown in E-Town, 2-0, 2-0. There's a 3-way tie. Manheim Central's also 2-0, so we'll snap the 3-way tie this week. Garden Spot 5th. I saw them last week against Lebanon. Very impressed with Garden Spot. Wasn't sure what to expect because I knew the air raid with Lebanon, knew they were probably going to get it up and down and score some points. They did. They put up some numbers. Garden Spot bent but didn't break. But the thing that impressed me about Garden Spot was they answered. They had an answer every time. They had some great 80-yard marches. Weston Martin, the quarterback, played fabulous, 297 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 3 to Tyler Eby, who was terrific. Huge win for Spot last week over Lebanon, I thought. So Wilson, Penn Manor, Catholic, E-Town, and Garden Spot. Those are my 5 at the halfway point.
Well, Jeff, since you mentioned the Garden Spot and Elizabethtown game, we'll add here that is one of our spotlight games for the week. You're going to be blogging live from that one on Friday night. You've already gotten into the breakdown of that game, but talk a little bit more about that, what you're expecting and what your pick is going to be.
Wow. Really looking forward to this game for sure. It would be another signature kind of game for Garden Spot. E-Town's sort of been here. They're the co-champs last year. They've played in these kind of games here the last year or two. Anxious to see how Garden Spot responds. Big spotlight, lights on, Friday night, first place on the line. Really anxious to see how Garden Spot responds there. Like their offense a lot, as I mentioned. Like Weston Martin, like Tyler Eby. Anderson Beamer's a good back. We'll see how they do with E-Town's defense. They're tricky. Alex Kirkner's playing great. Shane Rosenberry's playing great. I like E-Town at home a little bit. Like I said, they've been in these kind of games. The Solanco game last year took care of business. The Manheim Central game last year took care of business. I like the Bears. I'm leaning towards them a little bit. But Garden Spot can answer. I think there's a lot of points in this game, but I think E-Town hangs on at the end and goes to 3-0 in the section.
Yeah, I think you have to give E-Town a little bit of an edge there just because, as you mentioned, they have a lot more experience in big games. It wouldn't surprise me, though, if Garden Spot does come out of this game with a win. I think they have a lot of talent. They certainly have enough talent to beat E-Town. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of, are they going to be able to put it together, on the big stage, and we'll see. I'm picking E-Town as well, but like I said, I'm hedging my bet a little bit and saying that I think Garden Spot's going to make a really good showing and could come away with a win.
Same way. That's a good game. Really good game there.
Other spotlight game we have on the docket is the one I'm going to be blogging live from Friday night in West Lawn. We have the Section 1 clash between Hempfield and Wilson. Wilson, as you mentioned, undefeated and really rolling along through the section schedule here. Hempfield ran into a bump in the road against that Penn Manor team. They got knocked off a couple weeks ago and really got dominated in that game, but they bounced back pretty well last week against McCaskey. They're going to be rolling into this one 4-1. Jeff, your thoughts on this one?
Hempfield, like you said, hit the speed bump with Penn Manor, sort of a wake-up call, and I think that's how they saw it. They were cruising at 3-0, hit a speed bump, but I think Coach Forgrave got their attention right back. Took care of business against McCaskey last week. Offense got back to business. Good to see Eric Masick rush for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. Wow. They have enough weapons already with Cummings and Mendez and De La Lue, and Masick really, had that breakout game that I've been sort of waiting for from him. He's terrific defensively. Mm-hmm. But they established that power rushing game against McCaskey, which they're going to need when weather gets colder. You got to hold on to the ball, and you got to have that rushing attack. It was great to see Masick have a bust-out game last week. So I think Hempfield's back. I think they have everybody's attention again, no doubt about it. But they're going up against a stingy defense with Wilson, as everybody knows. Their bread and butter is stopping the run. Wilson's only given up around 300 rushing yards. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but they're number 1 in the league against the rush. So we'll see how Hempfield's spread does. We'll see how Cummings does in the option. We'll see if Masick can get that power running game going again. But I really like the way Wilson's going here. They're just playing lights out right now. They're number 8 in the state in one poll, and they're number 6 in the state in another poll. Great defense, steady offense. I like the Bulldogs here to kind of keep going and go 6-0 and.
Yeah, this is another one of those games where I'm going to sound a little wishy-washy on it. I'm picking Wilson as well, but boy, it would not surprise me if Hempfield goes down there and comes away with the win. Just because, as you mentioned, now they got Masick involved. I know I talked to Coach Forgrave earlier in the year, and he was saying, we really got to get him going. That was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think it may have actually been leading into the Penn Manor game where they were really hoping to start pounding him up the middle to really give a power running threat to go along with what Jarvis Cummings can do. As a option quarterback. I like Cummings a lot. I'm not sure that Wilson's run into a quarterback of his talent level yet. Or an offense of this talent level with all the things that they can do, both running and throwing the ball. So I think Hempfield's going to give them a really tough fight. I just think the fact that it's in West Lawn and Wilson's defense is so stingy, that's going to give them a little bit of an edge. So yeah, I'm going Wilson, but again, wouldn't stun me at all if Hempfield goes down there and upsets the Bulldogs.
No, Hempfield's going to score. Hempfield's going to score. Yeah. I don't think they're going to shut out Hempfield. I think Hempfield will definitely get some points. But this is a really good game. Good game. Have fun.
We're getting into the meat of the schedule here. All of them are going to be good from here on out.
This is good. This is what it's all about.
Okay, so now we'll hit our lightning round portion of the afternoon. We're going to go down each game on the docket, all the remaining 10 games that we have left. We'll start with Section 1, and your number 2 team in the Reinhart rankings, Penn Manor. They're going to be going up against McCaskey, a team that's struggling. We have a good backstory here, Jeff. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
The coaching matchup. Scott Feldman for McCaskey, Todd Mealy for Penn Manor. Mealy was Feldman's assistant and defensive coordinator at McCaskey. These guys go way back. When Coach Feldman was an assistant at Bishop McDevitt, Todd Mealy played for Bishop McDevitt. Coach Feldman told me this week, he said, I've been basically with Todd since he was a ball boy for McDevitt back in the day. So great coaching matchup, teacher-pupil, protege kind of a game. Love that. Penn Manor, number 1 defense in the league. McCaskey, giving up the most points in the league, scored the least points in the league, and they're last in the league in turnover ratio.
Ouch.
Hence the 0-5 mark. Comets go to 6-0.
Comets go to 6-0. I agree. I think they just have way too much in the arsenal for McCaskey to handle. It's a shame for McCaskey. They're really struggling, but I don't see that trend reversing this week.
Probably not.
Next on the docket, we have Cedar Crest. They're 1-4 overall, 0-2 in the section, going up against Manheim Township, 3-2, 2-0 for the Blue Streaks. Big win last week for them.
Huge.
What do you think?
Crest was manhandled by Wilson last week. Only had about 120 or 30 yards total. Township's 2 losses are by a grand total of
4 points.
4 points. I like the streaks here. I think they keep on keeping on. I think they go to 3-0, and they're going to have a say in this race.
Saw Township last week in that game against Warwick. They had to hang on there at the end. Warwick almost pulled off a miracle comeback there in the final minute. But, they did get the win, and I think they keep moving on here. Streaks over the Falcons in this one. Last game in Section 1, Reading, 1-4 overall, 0-2 in the section, going up against Warwick. They're 3-2 and 1-1. That one loss last week being the heartbreaker with Township.
Tough one. Reading last in the league in total offense, and their coach, Preston McKnight, actually said last week after the game, we might switch our offense up. They're a spread option team, and he said, I'm not sure the kids are quite ready for this offense. They're last in the league in that department, which is not good. Warwick, wow, tough one with Township.
Yeah.
Heck of an effort to come back and have a chance at the end, but I think Warwick's going to kind of be out for blood here. I think they want to get back on the field, make amends for last week. I like the Warriors here.
Yeah, I like Warwick too. I went into that game last week thinking they were kind of a one-man team with Resch, the running back, just handing the ball off to him 40, 50 times a night. Turns out they have a lot more than just him in that backfield. They have a very good quarterback. They have a good offense. I think they roll here. I like Warwick a lot in this one. I think they're going to be 4-2 when the night is over.
Agreed.
Moving into Section 2, the top game other than the Spotlight game on the docket, we have another really good one coming up here. Lebanon going up against Cocalico. Lebanon is 4-1 overall, so is Cocalico. Both are also 1-1 in the section. This one should be a shootout. What do you think?
If you like offense, go to Denver on Friday. Look out. Lebanon, number 1 offense in the league, 455 yards a game. Lebanon's the only team in the LL that has more than 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards passing. And they have the top passer in the league in James Capello, 1,180 yards and 13 touchdowns. They can get up and down. Cocalico does it on the ground. This will be a contrasting kind of a game. Lebanon likes to chuck it. Cocalico will stick it on the ground. They're second in the league in total offense, 435 yards a game. They lead the league in rushing. They're coming up on 1,800 yards rushing through 5 weeks, which is a great number. Kyle Fisher over 700 yards. He's playing great. Awesome game. Scoreboard operator.
Loosen up.
Loosen up your fingers. This has like 40 to 35 written all over it. I like Cocalico. I think their defense is a little more battle tested. I'll go Eagles. Eagles in a score fest.
Absolutely. This one could be one of those where you hold for the last shot like you do in basketball. I don't know. Cocalico, you think all they do is run the ball, but they're not. It's not like they're a ball control, grind it out, eat up the clock kind of offense. They got the guns that they can score really quick. I mean, how many 90-some yard kickoff returns I know Kyle Fisher has, and he's a speedster. So if you don't get him right at the line of scrimmage, he's gone.
Oh, yeah.
So this should be a really good game. I'm going to go Cocalico as well.
If it's a dry night, look out.
Yeah, I just think, like you said, Eagles defense probably a little bit better, and that could be the difference. All you may need is one defense to make one stop, and that might be enough. You never know. But, yeah, I'm going to go Eagles as well. Okay. Elsewhere in Section 2, we have Manheim Central. They're starting to rebound a little bit. 2-0 in the section, 3-2 overall. They're going up against winless Ephrata. Yikes.
Yeah, well, Ephrata does some things. It seems like they take some baby steps every week. Like you mentioned, Central's really picking up speed here. 2 wins in a row. Good win last Saturday over Solanco. I was over there in the rain watching them slug that out. Central, third-ranked offense in the league, second-ranked passing offense in the league. Ephrata, they've given up the most passing yards in the league. So expect Central to kind of stick it in the air again. Watch for NOSP to get this spread offense going a little bit. Welcome back Travis Ebersol from Manheim Central. He had the knee surgery after the Wilson game. I understand he'll be back this week.
Good news for him.
Yeah, great news for Central. They could use him. Barons here. They go to 3-0 and stay tied for first.
Yeah, can't pick against the Barons, especially going up against a struggling team like Ephrata. Got to go Barons as well. Okay. Final game on the Section 2 slate, we have winless Conestoga Valley. They're struggling, as the record would indicate. Mm-hmm. They're going up against Solanco, a team, like you said, that just got beat by Central last week. Solanco 2-3, 0-2 in the section. They got to get a win here. Yeah,
tough start for Solanco. Wow. E-Town and Central out of the chute for your section games. Not easy. CV's losing streak is up to 12. They're struggling. Move on. Solanco, really like them. They slug it out and they hit you and they battle. And they played 2 great games. The E-Town game was pretty close. and they led Central in the second half on Saturday. So I like what Solanco's doing. I'm surprised they're 0-2 here, but when you start with E-Town and CV and Central, that's tough. Solanco gets a win here. They're at home. I think they pick up some speed, and they're still in the district hunt. They can make districts. They need a couple wins. Golden Mules.
Yeah, I think they get the wheels going here and maybe start to make a little run here in the second half. It starts this week. I'm picking Solanco as well.
Okay.
Looking on to the Section 3 schedule now, and really there's only two teams that are kind of head and shoulders above everybody else in terms of record anyway. Lancaster Catholic, Northern Lebanon, they're both the 4-1 teams. Catholic starting off here looking for their 5th straight win, going up against Pequea Valley, which is struggling again this year. Your thoughts on this one?
Catholic's D is great, second in the league, and as mentioned, Kyle Smith is really picking up speed with the passing game. Pequea struggling, but good news for the Braves. Sean Persh is back, the All-State wideout. Had the hand surgery for ligaments after week 2. Pulled through, did great. Doctor said, yeah, you can play. So he's resumed his senior year. He came back last week, had 4 catches for 100 yards against Donegal. Welcome back, Sean. So that's good for them. Catholic wins here. I'll take Catholic.
It's great that Percy is back, but it's not going to be enough to overcome the Crusaders. I'm going Catholic as well.
This game was 74-6 last year, by the way.
Well, let's hope it doesn't get that bad again, but you never can tell. Also on the docket here, Northern Lebanon, as we mentioned, they're also 4-1 in the season, 1-1 in the section. They got upended by AnnvilleCleona last week, so they're looking to rebound. They're going up against Colombia. Colombia is 1-4 overall, 0-2 in the section. Jeff?
Colombia struggling, last in the league in total defense, giving up 440 yards a game, and they've given up pretty close to 2,000 rushing yards already. I think it's over 1,800. So Tide is struggling on D. Dakota Lightfoot's been a good thing for Colombia. 331 yards rushing against Boone. Last week, 260 yards rushing. So Lightfoot is your LL rushing leader. 902 yards at the halfway point. So could be a 2,000-yard rusher. We'll see. If they make districts, he'll get an extra game. Keep an eye on that. Northern Lebanon looking to snap back. Lost to AnnvilleCleona last week. First loss of the year. Like their veer a lot. Like Matt Nolan. Like Terry Clark. I like their rushing attack. Those guys have combined for more than 1,200 rushing yards between them. Northern Lebanon wins.
Yeah. Good offense, horrible defense.
Yeah, do the math.
Not a tough pick. Northern Lebanon takes this one as well. AnnvilleCleona, as we mentioned, they knocked off Northern Lebanon. They're 3-2 overall and 2-0 in the section. They're tied with Catholic up in the top. So I guess I should have said there's 3 teams in it because you can't overlook the little Dutchman at this point.
No.
They're going up against Donegal. Donegal 2-3 overall, 1-1 in the section. And does Annville keep it going here, Jeff?
I like the Indians here.
Really?
Yes, I do. Yeah, they had a good week last week. I know it was Pequea and then they haven't won, but I think that gave them some momentum. Kyle Whitmer, the player of the week, had a huge game, 220 yards and 4 touchdowns. So I think they have some momentum. Donegal's opened it up a little more. If you check their stats, they've passed a little more. Matt Culp's throwing the ball around a little more. And they're at home this week, and I know Annville's been a great story. They're very scrappy. I saw them early in the season. They're a fun team, and they look like they're going to be that Section 3 team this year that sort of comes out of nowhere and is going to be there, in the race. And knocking off Northern Lebanon last week was huge. But I think Donegal's sort of back on track. I like their rushing attack a lot with Whitmer. I think they take care of business. I like the Indians in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go ahead and disagree with you there.
Okay.
I'm like an Annville. I think they have some momentum coming off of that Northern Lebanon win. Yeah. I think they carry it forward here against a Donegal team that's still kind of struggling, still trying to find their way. I'm going Annville in this one. What the heck?
Why not? It would be nice to see them win and have another undefeated team because it just keeps the race more and more interesting.
Yeah, it would put some spice into it.
Absolutely.
So we'll see.
Absolutely.
Last game on our schedule this week, we have Lampeter Stroudsburg going up against Elko. Lampeter Stroudsburg, the defending District 3 champs, they are 1-4 overall now. 1-1 in the section. If you got to figure if they're going to do it, they're going to have to start making their move right now. They're going up against Elko. Elko is 2-3, 1-1 in section play. Jeff, your thoughts here?
LS is better than 1-4, no doubt. They had Lancaster Catholic on the ropes last week. Catholic needed two second half, fourth quarter type long touchdown passes to beat them. So I think LS has found itself. I know it doesn't show in the record, but I think they're back. Their defense is playing really well. I think they're 6th in the league in total defense. Elko coming off a big win over Colombia, put 58 points on the board. 3 kids rushed for over 100 yards. Stat of the week. Aaron Aki, the quarterback, Justin Weatherholtz, the halfback, and Ben Arnold, the fullback at Elko, all have more than 300 yards rushing. Good balance.
Yeah.
I think LS wins, though. I just think their defense is tough. I think they'll find a way to at least curtail Elko's rushing attack. LS is better than 1-4, trust me. And I know they got to run the table here if they want to defend their district title, but like you said, it starts now, and I like LS here.
I'm going to disagree with you on that one as well. The last time I thought LS was turning it around and making a comeback, they went out and I believe it was Cocalico and they got stomped.
Ooh.
So I'm not a believer yet. If they can pick up a win here, then maybe we'll look at them again next week and think, okay, now they got it rolling a little bit. I like Elko here. I think, they're one of those scrappy teams that's, they're always going to be in every game, and I think they just have enough here that they can knock off the Pioneers. We'll see. It would probably still be a mild upset just when you look in terms of like program history.
Sure.
But I'm going Raiders. I just think they have a little bit of momentum here, and I think they're going to keep it going here against the Pioneers. But we'll see.
Interesting game. Very interesting game. Good game there.
Okay, well, folks, that's all we have for you this week. Again, on Friday nights, if you can't make it out to the game, we have you covered here at lanksports.com. Jeff and I will be blogging live from the 2 top games this week, although there are a lot of good ones.
A lot of good games.
Jeff's going for the Garden Spot Elizabethtown game as a reminder. I'll be doing Hempfield and Wilson. Both of us will be giving you scoring updates from games in progress all through the night, both in our live blogs and on the ticker across the top of our page at lanksports.com. We also have the fastest final scores in Lancaster County. Don't wait for television and don't wait for them to update their websites. We'll have them here as soon as they're finished. So again, if you're looking for football information, visit us, www.lanksports.com. Thanks, everyone. See you next week.